live before. Hello, 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 everyone. Please join me. Please join me and stick around for a while. We're going to be talking about thinning hair and why your hair is thin. Okay, so I'm trying to get set up here. So now I am here with Instagram. I'm here with TikTok. So thank you, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me. If you guys have problems, let me know because we are going to talk about some things right now. Okay, we're going to talk about thinning hair, why your hair is thinning, and we're going to talk about where you can find some helpful information. If you stick around for a minute, you can ask me any of the questions that you like, but sometimes I like to stick to my script. But if the flow is moving and you have questions that aren't on my script, well, guess what? We will address your questions. My name is LaRon, and I am a certified IET trichologist here in Pleasantville, New Jersey. I have a trichology center and hair replacement center. So when I can't help anyone regrow their hair because of any issues that they may have. I also help clients with non-surgical hair replacement. So if I can't help you restore your own hair naturally, I'm going to make sure that I help you add some hair. Hello, All in One House of Beauty. How are you? If you want to join in on the conversation, please let me know. You are more than welcome. And again, my name is LaRon Quarles, and I am the owner of SBL Hair Loss here in Pleasantville, New Jersey. So I just want to talk to you all today about thinning hair and where it comes from, why it happens, and what you can do about it. So if any of you guys are having any challenges with thinning hair, just put them in the chat or put up a little hand and just say, me, I was having some thinning issues. I got on medication. Now I'm off. Menopause did it. Just tell me. Just, let's talk about it because I just want to get down to, the real skinny. And I'm going to pull up my notes because I always like to make sure I cover all my notes so I don't miss anything. So I just want to talk a little bit about me. I got my start in 2010. I live in the New Jersey area. Okay, that question, Miss Paula, when you say, why do you have dry scalp and how do you properly moisturize your scalp? You have to get a water based moisturizer. It shouldn't be the first thing on the list, should not be oil. You should always get a water based moisturizer. Within the first three ingredients, it should say water. One should say glycerin. One should say pathanol. They should be instruments that you can use that have water as a base, and it should never be oil because if you're using a lot of oil, you will constantly have issues with your scalp. So try using a moisturizer and use it often and use it as much as possible. I don't know the hair texture that you currently have. That's not what I'm going to get into right now because I'm talking about why we have thinning hair and not about dry hair and how to moisturize hair. But if you have any concerns, put those questions in the chat. But if you want to moisturize your hair, find something where the first three ingredients, not number 10 and not number 7 and not number 5, one of the first three ingredients should be water. Moisturize your scalp, moisturize your hair, moisturize it often and keep your hair clean. Make sure you're always using liquid oil and cream. Liquid oil and cream. So the liquid should be the water, oil, and the cream. Make sure you're keeping your hair moisturized. And it's probably more than likely you're not getting enough omegas in your diet because omegas have a lot to do with why your hair and your skin are dry. And make sure that you're drinking plenty of water and make sure you're adding water through your products to your hair often. You may have to do this a number of times. I'm not sure of your situation, but I hope that helps. But if anyone is having any concerns about why they're having thinning hair, let's address that because we're here to talk about thinning hair, not really how to moisturize dry hair. We're here to talk about thinning hair. I wanted to talk about how I got my start because I know you guys are probably like, well, who is she? I just landed on this live. Who is this lady? So My name is Laurent Quarles again. I am a certified IT trichologist. I am here in New Jersey. I got my start in 2010 when I attended a salon function that had a trichologist who was featured. He came in and he started talking about getting our certificate in an introduction to trichology. So I have been exposed to trichology since 2010, and I'm still here trying to make sure that I can meet my women, my men's needs, my children's needs that are having issues with their hair, having issues with thinning hair, hair issues, and scalp problems. I got exposed to trichology in 2010, and as a good student, I've had my nose in books, and I've also went back and got my full certification in trichology in 2016. I also went back and became a hair loss practitioner because that certificate was availed to me a few years later. So I'm also a hair loss practitioner. I am a cosmetologist and a hairstylist, and I also teach and train beauty professionals to do what it is that I do, to be able to share these types of concepts with their tribe, with their clients, so that they can maximize their business and help their clients when they're having particular issues as well. So I'm here because I like to give back and I like to talk and I like to share with you guys real information about why you're having challenges with your hair and why it's thinning. So if anybody has any questions about thinning hair and hormones and um, they've had some challenges within here, put it in the chat because we're going to talk about it right now. So I'm going to just go through my questions and just say again to you guys, thank you for joining me. And if you have any friends, please share this out to someone that needs to hear this. If you have a good girlfriend, share this out with your good girlfriend. If you want to connect with me, please just let me know. Send me a message. Hopefully your profile isn't private, because if it's private, I may not be able to get a chance to connect with you later. If you have any questions, leave them here, leave them in the chat, leave them as a message, and I promise I will get right back to you. So I want to talk about where thinning hair comes from. Now, I myself, I have very fine hair. I've always had fine hair. I had much better hair in my 20s when I was in college. But what I mean is, I've always had thin, fine hair. Anyone that knows me knows that I've always had hair, but my hair has always been fine and thin. But what happens is, our body is changing. I want you guys to understand, change is taking place, and it's not about you getting old. I hear people say all the time, I'm getting old, that's why my hair is thin. That is not it. I want to share something with you that may be interesting. Can I share that with you? If I can share it with you, let me know, because I want to see what's happening. So, Miss Donna Marie, why does my hair grow so slow? Or why is my hair so slow to grow? I will say this: hair growth patterns are hereditary. So if you have a mother or father who had slow growing hair, or had issues with their hair, or if they didn't grow long hair quickly, it's probably hereditary. African Americans, and I'm not sure what your ethnicity is, African Americans, Africans, Afro Caribbeans, we have the slowest growing hair. Our hair grows the slowest in all the ethnicities. Asians, everyone in Asia, the whole country of Asia, they have the fastest growing hair. Then, as people migrated out, we have different cultures: Caucasoid, Caucasian. We have blends of different types of families. We have Asians at the far end, and we have Africans at the other end. Africans and African descent have the slowest growing hair as hereditary patterns. It kind of, it, I don't even know how to say it any better than, because we're African in nature, we have the slowest growing pattern. It is also because of your genetic makeup. So that is what has been bestowed to you. What I can share with you is, make sure that you're doing the most. Make sure you're giving your body the important things, the antioxidants, the anti-inflammatories, the vitamins, the minerals. Make sure you're giving your body the B vitamins, keeping your hair cleansed. Do the most so that you can have the best hair that you can. But if your hair has always been slow to grow, nothing really is going to change that, because that's genetic. And I hate to put it so bluntly, but that is primarily how it is. I don't have the fastest growing hair, but my hair doesn't grow very slowly either. But I have noticed some people have said, oh, my hair just never seems to get past a certain length. It never seems to grow any longer than this. I understand that that is primarily the reason. So I want to just ask if any of you guys have any issues with thinning hair, if you have any questions about your hair. We are going to be talking about this right here behind me, hormones. Hormones are at the base of why we have changes and challenges with our hair and hair growth. So I want to start off again by saying when you're having a challenge with thin hair, it's because of bodily changes. Bodily changes. And I put it into perspective as think of however age you are now, whatever age you are now, think of the age you were when you were 20, when you were 30. I'm 56. I would love to have the hair that I had when I was 19, 20 years old. Think about that time. When you were younger, you had the best hair ever because you had the highest of the highest, probably level of estrogen and female hormones that you probably ever have in your lifetime. As we age, our bodies are constantly changing, constantly changing. So I am going to start out with hormones as a basis for why our hair gets thin. So if anybody has any issues with any hormonal challenges, hormonal disturbances, and they have hair growth issues, hair loss issues, put them in the chat because we're going to talk about them. We're going to address them right now. All right. I'm constantly trying to make sure that I don't miss anyone here in TikTok. I don't miss anyone here on my Instagram. Now let me see. Okay, All in One House of Beauty. Let's talk. Let's talk. You going to join me today? So I want to talk about female hormones. Now, when we are about 18 to 25, we're having the highest amount of estrogen levels that we're ever probably going to have in our entire life. Once we get to about 25 to 30, those levels start to drop. The levels are starting to drop. And what is happening, chemical changes, metabolic changes are happening, and you will probably more than likely see changes in your hair. How are you, madam? How you doing?
I'm good.
So we are talking about right now estrogen levels and changing hair growth cycles and how we see changes in our hair as our hair is starting to take a dip. What I was mentioning is, and I want to know if you could chime in, about 30, our estrogen levels start to drop and they start tapering off and they lower and then they lower to a
I'm
point.
here.
Can you hear me?
I'm, I'm here with a client.
Oh, okay, okay. I thought you wanted to join in and jump on and say a few words.
Okay, next time. I'm busy
Okay.
right now.
All right.
Next time.
Okay. All right. I'll see
Okay.
you later.
Yeah. Okay, darling.
Okay. Bye
Okay.
bye. All right, everybody. So, yes. So, what I was explaining is when we're about 18 to 25, we're having the highest level of estrogen that we're ever going to have. As we age, maybe in our 30s, it's starting to taper off. You may also begin to start to see changes in your hair, widening parts. Your hair is starting to dip and take changes and take shape that don't look the way it did when you were much younger. Also, what's happening is when we're having kids, our levels are sometimes at the best they will ever be. Some of us will have the best growing hair ever. Some of us, because of the chemical changes and the hormonal changes, some of us may lose our hair. I know a lot of my clients have lost their hair when they've gotten pregnant. So I just want you to understand it is not you, it's just the hormones. Hormonal changes will cause disturbances in your hair. And for a lot of ladies and a lot of men, it will cause disturbances right here. This part right here, the top of your head, is where you'll see the most change in your hair growth. When you're having challenges with your hormones, you'll see it right at the top of your head here. So let me continue. So let me just decline that. Also, when you are getting on birth control pills, you're getting the shot, you're getting on the pill, off the pill, you're starting HRT, you're getting off HRT, and you're doing things that are going to change your hormone balance. Anytime you affect your female hormones, you will have challenges with hair growth. I have a lot of ladies, they'll come to me and they'll say, I started this medication, I stopped that medication. I got on this HRT, I stopped that HRT. I got on minoxidil, then I got off of minoxidil because I didn't want to take it forever. I didn't like the way it made my hair feel. When you get on a program, stop a program. Get on a program, stop a program. What it's always going to affect is your hormonal balance. So I want to just share this over and over and over. We're going to be talking about hormones and hormone balance. And when your hormones are disturbed, it's going to cause problems here, right on the top of your head. So when I talk about hormonal changes, this is what I mean. It's going to affect your hair growth in ways that you're probably not going to be happy with. So aside from that, also what I want to say, and thank you so much for my hearts, you essentially are not the same person that you were when you were younger. When you are aging, this is what's changing. Your hormones are changing. This right here, hormones. Hormones are changing. So it's not so much you getting old. It's not you getting old because I have a lot of ladies who are 60, 70, 80, 90. I have some 90-year-old clients with full heads of hair. No problems at all. But it's just that as we age, our hormones are taking a dip. So if anybody understands what I'm saying, put hormones in the chat because I want to continue talking about it. Put hormones in the chat. Let me know that you're listening. So another thing that's going to happen is when you're going through puberty, you're going through menstruation, then you're having babies. So your hormones are constantly taking a dive. They're going up, they're going down. Sometimes it will cause your hair to fall out. Sometimes it will cause your hair to thin. Also, what happens is when you're nursing, there are other hormones at work that cause you to lactate. With some women, because there's a hormonal disturbance, because now your body's creating lactating hormones. In some women, that can cause hair loss. So when you're having trouble with hormone balance, you may have hair loss in this area here. Now, I want to talk a little bit more about menopause, because menopause is, oh yes, thank you, Respectful, and thank you, Live, thank you. Yes, you are listening. When we're having challenges with menopause, because I'm going through menopause myself, not that y'all care to know anything about that, but I just want to keep it 100. Menopause will cause different cellular changes in your body as well, because menopause is a hormone disturbance. This is a natural cessation of hormones where you're no longer producing a menstrual cycle. Now you're having lower estrogen, but now your androgens, your male hormone, more testosterone is at work in us right now. So we'll have thicker hair. The hair is getting coarser. We're getting hair on our chest. We're getting hair in areas where we did not want any hair. We don't care to see any hair. But because our bodies are changing and our levels are starting to taper, androgens are starting to rise. So androgens are male hormones, and that will cause us to have challenges with our hairline starting to slide back. My hair, I still have hair in the front. However, I see it because I'm going on 60. My hair is starting to thin here in the front, but I understand that that's part of the hormone dynamic. When your hormones are changing, you will see it here. So if you guys have any questions, if you have gone through this yourself, if you're going through menopause or you had changes, you got on the pill, you got off the pill, you were on HRT, you have PCOS, put it in the chat because this is exactly what we're talking about. So PCOS and menopause are close in nature in what it is that I'm referring to, because I'm talking about an increase in androgens, an increase in male hormones. When you have problems with PCOS, this is a hormonal disturbance. Yes, PCOS. Yes. So Bebe said PCOS. When you have an increase in androgens, you may also have a corresponding increase in hair loss, especially here in the front of your hairline for those who are menopausal, and across the top of this head here, because that increase in androgens is in effect a male hormone. So you can start to adopt that hair loss pattern where you have that George Jefferson, where you have no hair here with that Bozo the Clown look, and you have more hair here. Now, for a lot of women, you will never lose all of your hair. You will start to see your hair starting to thin, but you will never lose all of your hair. If you ever have a period where your scalp is painful and you're losing all of your hair, that's a different type of hair loss. You may have centrifugal cicatricial alopecia. because when you indeed have hormonal based hair loss, it will cause your hair to diffuse or thin, but you'll never lose all of your hair. So that may be another dynamic at work. So I just want to make sure that Facebook, if you guys have any questions or comments, let me know because I will address them. I am here. I'm going back and forth through all of my channels to make sure I address all my questions. So let me get back to my notes. So I want to move right along, and please let me know if you guys are following me, if you're understanding what it is that I'm trying to share when it comes to thinning hair and how hormones affect it, because I'm going to keep going and I'm going to give you some more reasons why we tend to lose hair due to hormones. And it's not that you are getting old. Age doesn't have as much to do with it as you may think. It's not so much the age, it is your body changing. So I want to talk about the second type of reason why hormones will cause an imbalance in your hair growth, why it would slow it down, why it will cause your hair to thin. And of all times now, my mouse don't want to work and I can't seem to get it to work. All right, here we go. Stress. Stress is very, very tricky for the hair growth and hair growth cycle. Stress is very tricky. It's tricky because it involves two of the very sensitive body systems, the nervous system and the endocrine or the endocrine system. So when you're stressed out constantly, repeatedly, and you have unresolved trauma, you have things that, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. When you're dealing with things that are on your mind, that are constantly weighing you down, you're stressed out about work. You're stressed out because you don't like work. You're stressed out that you have to get to work. You don't have enough time to get to work. You don't like your coworkers. You don't like your boss. Your husband is getting on your nerves. Your kids are getting on your nerves. And this is constant every day. If you're taking care of your aged parents, you're taking care of grandkids, you have adult children living with you. If you have unhealed trauma that you haven't forgiven people for, that stress is going to cause you a tremendous amount of hormonal disturbance here in the top. I attended Kingdom Hall, and one of my sisters, I had a chance to go out in the field ministry with her, and I was talking with her because as we hang out with different sisters during the field ministry and we're knocking on doors, sometimes we get to meet other sisters that we had never had the opportunity to meet. So one of these sisters asked me, well, what is it that you do? And I proudly said, I am a hair loss specialist. So she said, oh, I wish I had met you a few years ago because when I got divorced, all of my hair fell out in the top of my head. Bam, here it is. Hormonal disturbance, insulin levels, that blood sugar and that cortisol will take it right out. So this was her plea to me. Please tell me how I can avoid that next time. I said, you must balance your hormonal levels. You must take care of your nervous system if you want to avoid that dilemma next time. So another reason why we tend to thin or lose hair on the top is because of the stress. So let me explain to you what happens. The inflammation comes from the stress. That inflammation, any inflammation in the cytokines that are released and the neurotransmitters that are activated because of all the stress send inflammatory signals to your brain. The capillaries that are led from the arteries and the veins, they don't get enough oxygen. They don't get enough nutrients. Your blood vessels are starting to constrict. So you're not getting any minerals. You're not getting any vitamins. You're not getting any circulation. You're not getting any blood flow and oxygen. All of that inflammation sends to those sensory nerve fibers. It's sending an attack signal. And when you're under attack, you're kind of like on high alert. So your sensory nerve fibers that are wrapped around each follicle are shaking it like this, because I know sometimes when I get stressed out, sometimes my eyes start fluttering and I literally feel myself shaking because I am hot, I am angry, I am upset. Now, can you imagine how your hair feels? It's like this. The sensory nerve fibers are activated. It's sending signals. It's not getting any blood flow, any oxygen. The arteries and the blood vessels and the veins and the capillaries, they're moving like this. They're letting less and less oxygen and blood flow and less micronutrients here to this area right here. Okay, T-dubs, I'm going to address that in just a second. So what it is that I'm sharing with you is when you're constantly stressed out, your cortisol level And your blood sugar levels, they run in tandem. When your cortisol is released from your adrenals, it is going to correspondingly send signals to your pancreas to release blood sugar and release insulin. Your insulin levels, insulin is a hormone. So each time your blood sugar is raised, your insulin level is raised. And it has to force that blood sugar into the cells so that it can take advantage of all of the blood sugar and help your body meet its needs at that time, help you during that stressful event. Because insulin is a hormone, insulin is raised all the time because you're stressed out all the time. You haven't forgiven, you haven't let go, you haven't done a woosah, you're not turning that phone off, you staying in drama all day long, popping off all day long because you think it's cute. It's not cute. Being stressed out is not cute. Stop minding folks' business. Handle your own business. Worry about yourself. Leave folks alone. Worry about yourself. Do you just do one of these numbers? Girl, I ain't got nothing to do with that. That ain't none of my business. Leave it alone. That stress, if you're one of those types of people, is going to cause you to have inflammation and inflammatory signals sent to your brain. Your brain is going to let this area know we don't need this hair. Let it go. Focus your energy someplace else. And guess what? Your hair is going to obey and it's going to fall out. And here's why. When you are constantly stressed out, cortisol, in effect, forces hair from the growth phase into the catagen resting phase. When you're forcing that hair into the catagen resting phase, it is in a sense pushing that hair up out of the follicle, and it is actually preparing it to exit so that new hair can grow beneath it. However, because you're stressed out, you're staying stressed all the time, it causes that resting phase to be longer. And it's causing your hair to sit in that phase where it's not going to repopulate that follicle because of the stress you're always under. So that's why you will lose your hair, and it takes a while for that hair to come back because you need to relax. You need to relax. You need to take things that are going to nourish your adrenals and your cortisol and your thyroid, cis T dubs, and your stress hormones. So T Dub said, what about if you don't have a thyroid? And then Sherry Lynn said, total thyroidectomy. So I do understand, however, you have all of the rest of these hormones. You have the parathyroid, you have the hypothalamus, you have your adrenals, you have so many other endocrine glands that are going to help you because you don't have a thyroid. So y'all still here, y'all still sending me messages. So you know y'all still doing okay. However, there may be a little bit of suffering, but God always works it out. He gives you all the rest of these to make sure that you're good without a thyroid. So I'm pretty sure your physician has you on synthetic hormones. However, what I want to say is sometimes it makes your hair growth a little bit weaker than normal because you're on a synthetic hormone. If you don't mind sharing that with me, T Dubs and Sherry Lynn, let me know if your physician has you on Synthroid or some sort of synthetic product to help you manage those thyroid hormones. So that is the gist of it for female hormones. When we're menstruating, when we're on the pill, when we're having a baby, when we're going through menopause, it's just hormonal disturbances. So when it comes to your stress levels, it will send your insulin up. Insulin is a hormone. You cannot be stressed out and not have problems with insulin. They run all together. These chemical messengers, chemical signals, this happens whether we like it or not. What happens over time is sometimes we have problems with our pancreas becoming inflamed and our body not even be able to recognize its own insulin. When you're having a problem with insulin resistance, you'll get eye floaters, you'll get these little spots all in your eyes, and you'll just be like, I can't see, I can't see, I can't focus. You'll have eye floaters because it's inflammation behind the walls of your eye. You'll start to have skin tags all over your skin because of this whole dynamic of high levels of insulin that your body cannot deal with. You'll start to have neuropathy in your fingers, neuropathy in your toes. This is letting you know that your sugars are so high, oxygen can't even get to your fingers. It can't even get to your extremities. You're going to have pain in your feet. You're going to have pain in your fingers. And this is all from insulin resistance. So I'm trying to tell you guys, if this happens to you, you may be one of the sensitive ones because your hormones are not being balanced and you're not watching what it is that you're eating. and you're not paying attention to your body and you're not watching your stress, you could be dealing with levels of high insulin that will cause you to thin. Not every single person has this problem, but when it is you, this is one of the contributors. So, insulin resistance can show up in a whole lot of different ways. It can show up in PCOS, it can show up as frequent yeast infections, it can show up where it shows up. But once I start digging in as a trichologist and a hair loss professional and a health practitioner, I find out where it is and I give my clients a plan of action to help them reduce the stress, reduce the load on the adrenals, provide you with some ways to support your body so that it can stop taking it out on your hair. Because I will say this, as long as your body is out of balance, your hair will never grow properly. So I say all this to say, even if you have been pregnant, there will be a time where you're not going to be pregnant. You just have to give your body time to rebalance. If you want to help your body along, make sure you're considering plant based hormones, phytoestrogens. If you're going to speak to your doctor, see if they can help you with phytoestrogens. If you need help, I've written a book. It is a hormone balance book. It's in my bio. And for Facebook and YouTube, all you have to do is tap that link that is scrolling across your screen. And the book is $9.99. It's right in there. It gives you plant-based ways that you can take care of it, ways that you can take care of it with diet, ways that you can take care of it with essential oils, because essential oils are just cold pressed, concentrated versions of our plants that grow out in the wild that help us and help us naturally as opposed to drug-based therapy. So I just wanted to just talk with you about, it's not you getting old. It's not it has nothing to do about you getting old. It is the imbalance of your hormones and what happens when you're doing different things, how it affects your hormones, and if you are sensitive, why we tend to thin here in the top. So I also want to talk about inflammation. So, live said cast off. Tell me what that means because I'm trying to address everything here. So you said cast off. So let me know. So Eris said, so does stress cause CCCA? It's not that stress causes CCCA, and I'll probably do a CCCA live tomorrow. Stress does not indirectly cause CCCA, but whatever factors are at work in your centrifugal cicatricial alopecia, stress amplifies everything that's going on with you and will make everything speed up and be worse. It will make your pain worse. It will make your digestion worse, your immunity worse. It will make your inflammation worse. So I say all that to say, Miss Era, if you are dealing with CCCA, you definitely have to make sure you pay attention to your levels of stress. If you're not stressed out, just focus on the contributors to your CCCA so you can work with your dermatologist, work with your trichologist to help you regain control of your CCCA or wherever it is, if it's frontal fibrosis or if it's just central in the crown here. Work on the contributors to your CCCA. If you want more information on how you can help yourself naturally, I have a book in my profile about CCCA. All you have to do is go to the bio here, and tap that, and my CCCA book will appear because I have written just a helpful guide as to what will happen when you go to your dermatologist, what they'll give you, what it's for, how you can take care of it yourself, where it comes from, some natural ways that you can deal with it, because it is a two-way street. You will have to work with your dermatologist or your trichologist or your holistic practitioner, and you have work to do. You have work to do. And I thank you so much from my heart. I really appreciate it. And if you guys want to get a number next to your name like Kondak has, all you have to do is go here, tap this little heart, and make it do what it do so you can get those numbers next to your name. So I can tell that some of you guys probably haven't been around TikTok and probably haven't been giving gifts or leaving little breadcrumbs along the way as you visit each live and visit each page. Because when you tap here and you click all the way down, and when you leave little gifts, you get numbers next to your name. So that's one helpful free game hint for you today. So I want to go ahead and keep on, and I want to migrate on to inflammation. So although inflammation is not an endocrine system issue, what I want to share with you is inflammation will cause pain, it will cause stiffness, it will cause irritation, it will cause you to be very sore. Your scalp can be very sore, your joints will be sore, your feet will be in pain. It may cause things like arthritis and gastritis and tendonitis and anything with an itis. However, I leave this here because I want you all to understand when you're having problems with thinning hair, one of the contributors and one of the reasons why you have thinning hair is because your inflammation stems from an organ. It stems from one of these organs here, right here. So if any of you guys are dealing with inflammation, let me know. Put inflammation in the chat. I just want to know that y'all listening. Put inflammation in the chat because I want to see who's still with me right now. Eris, Era, you are welcome. I hope I'm not messing up your name. I know I'm probably messing it all kinds of ways up. And thank you, Miss Yolanda, for liking the live. What I want to get across to you is yes, inflammation. Yes, okay. Some people are listening. All right. Inflammation will come from an organ. And I'm going to give you two examples because I try not to get too far out of my head because I'll start talking about something for an hour that don't have nothing to do with the live. So what I want to share with you is when you're having trouble with your hair, trouble with your scalp, your hair is not growing the way it should. It's thinning. Your body, oh, thank you, Miss Eris. Okay. What happens is your hair, and I learned this from Rodney Barnett when I took his training in 2010. And today it's 2025, and he still says the same thing all the time. If your body is out of balance, you will never grow hair properly. You just won't. Your body is going to focus on the neck down. Whatever your body needs to the core, it's going to focus on your neck down to your private parts. It's going to focus blood flow. It's going to focus energy. It's going to focus everything it needs to right in this area to make sure you have what you need. And if you don't, guess what is going to suffer? Your hair. You're going to see everything that's wrong with you in your hair. If your hair is breaking, if it's thinning, if it's splitting, if it's falling out, if you're losing hair in spots, if you're losing hair here, if you're losing hair here, if you're losing hair right here and you have frontal fibrosis and alopecia, if you're losing hair here in the top, something is always wrong. Something is amiss. Something is out of balance. So I want to let you know that inflammation is usually at the core of that. So let me flip around to Facebook. I want to make sure. Oh my Lord! Now my mouse don't want to work. Now I can't flip back over to Facebook, and I'm sorry. So what I'm trying to help you guys understand is when you're going through situations with inflammation, the inflammation is going to come from an organ. Now, one of the first examples that I want to leave with you is inflammation from the heart. Now, you're diastolic and systolic. I don't know who is in this live. I don't know what kind of experience you guys have. I don't know. Thank you so much for sharing this live, poor Patty. I don't know who it is that I'm speaking with today, but my health professionals, they understand what I mean. When your diastolic and systolic is taken, those figures tell me certain things. It either tells me that your heart is beating very hard because you have a lot of inflammation in your arteries, or your heart is beating the way it beats because there's a lot of plaque buildup and a lot of calcium built up in your blood vessels. That is inflammation over time. When you have a very poor diet, your diet over time is a lot of processed foods, a lot of salt, a lot of sugar, a lot of fried foods, and a lot of foods that aren't right for you. And I talk about this all the time. I'm not sure if you guys have joined me on any of my lives where I talk about the blood type diet. Facebook, I'm back in now. I can see you. If you have any questions, just drop them here in the chat. Sometimes I'll talk about eating for your blood type. And if you're not eating for your blood type, and you're an A or an AB, and you're eating like a B or an O, you will have a modest amount of plaque buildup, stiffening of the arteries. And that's where your inflammation will come from. Eating processed foods and eating foods that aren't right for you over time drain your liver, and it causes your gallbladder to work much harder. Your liver will become inflamed and it will become fatty. A fatty liver does not produce cholesterol well. It does not help you balance your lipids well, and your cholesterol levels and your lipid levels will actually begin to rise because of how you're eating. A lot of my clients, when they visit me as a psychologist, I have to talk with them about not eating the way they eat, but they're so accustomed to eating how they've eaten for years, they don't want to change. When you don't want to change, that makes my job harder because I can't help you with your hair growth if you're not open to change. When you are having higher than normal cholesterol levels, having high cholesterol is not necessarily a bad thing because cholesterol delivers hormones all throughout the body. It also lets me know that your liver is working very, very hard because now it has to put cholesterol in your arteries because you have a lot of nicks and tears in your artery because of the food and the sugar and the salt and the way you're treating your body with coffee and alcohol and staying up late at night and not getting any rest. That damages your veins and your arteries. So it puts cholesterol in your arteries to help soothe those nicks and tears in your arteries. Over time, that along with the food that you're eating creates a lot of inflammation. Now your doctor's putting you on medication when you just probably need to change your diet, get more fiber in your life so that it can help take away some of that inflammation in your arteries. So the inflammation in your arteries will actually reduce the amount of blood flow. It will reduce the amount of circulation to your scalp. Your hair don't need no circulation when the rest of the body ain't getting enough circulation. It's going to not worry about your hair one bit. And guess what? Your hair is going to start disappearing. Boop, 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 boop. Bye. Your hair is going to start thinning and thinning and thinning and thinning. And all you're going to brag on is, oh, yeah, I'm on this medication. My doctor got me on this medication and medication and medication. When you can possibly change what you're eating by watching what's on the end of your fork. Watch what's on the end of your fork so that you can reduce and eliminate the need for such high amounts of medications. A lot of my clients, they're coming in, they're on calcium channel blockers, beta blockers, cholesterol medicine, they're on blood sugar medicine, when all they need to do is focus on what it is that they're eating. When you can focus on what it is that you're eating, you can help your body out so much. But this is one area where your inflammation will come from your heart and your blood flow. So the next area where you'll start getting a lot of inflammation is in your stomach and your colon. So put in the chat, everybody, if you're listening and if you understand what I mean by inflammation that will come from the stomach or the colon. Just say, what's that, Lauren? What are you talking about? What does that even mean? So, Bama Gal. All right, Bama Gal. So you said, what test do you get that determines inflammation? You can get a test from your doctor called a CRF. Is not CRF. There is a test for inflammation. Let me get my phone for a second because I can't think. When I'm thinking about something else and I'm on live, sometimes my brain can't even think. Let me check. Give me 1 second because your doctor will pull this for your labs. C-reactive protein. I was about to say CRH, but that's cortisol, cortisone releasing. It's the wrong one. It's called CRV. It is called CRP, C-reactive protein. So, Bamagal, that's the test that you can get through your labs that will let your doctor know that your levels of inflammation are rising. And also, it doesn't take a lab report to tell you have inflammation. If you're indeed having pain and stiffness and swelling and your body's hurting. So when you're having pain and your scalp's in pain, because I'm a hair loss specialist, when my clients tell me that they're in pain, their scalp hurts, they don't have relaxer, they don't have color, they don't wear braids, I know that it's inflammation, so I don't need a test to tell me that. But that's a test that you can get on a lab because that's the question you ask that will help you understand if you are definitely dealing with inflammation. So let me get back to my notes here because I like to follow along because if I don't, I'm going to miss stuff. So when you are having a challenge with your stomach and your digestion, nobody put it in the chat, but I was wondering if any of y'all are listening. I'm going to start sharing with you how you'll have inflammation that comes from the stomach. I talk often about type A, type AB, type B, and type O. When you're having thinning hair, since I'm talking about thinning hair, these are some of the reasons why you can have a challenge with thinning hair. If you guys are listening, please Put a little brown hand up, put a tan hand up, put a heart up. Let me know that you all are listening, because I want to make sure that you guys are paying attention. Because if this is too much, just let me know. If I'm talking too much, let me know. If you would rather ask me questions, let me know. I'd rather just answer your questions. Okay, all right. I got some hearts. I got thumbs up. I got highs. I got hearts. Thank you very much. Okay, all right. Miss T Hill said they're listening. Okay, when you're having problems with inflammation when it comes to digestion, this is what happens. When you're an A or an AB like myself, I'm an AB. So ABs are a cross between a type A blood, type B blood. We originally started with hunter gatherers with a type O blood. These were the ones who are able to slay bears, slay deer, and slay big animals, and they would slay big game. And they came from Africa. But as people migrated to different areas and different continents, once God confused the languages, and then we had the Tower of Babel, people couldn't speak all the same languages. We also had migrations. We had people moving to other areas. Well, we can't communicate, we can't talk, so we got to go somewhere where we can talk with other people who look like us, think like us, and talk like us. So people are migrating. They go to Asia, they go to Europe, they go to different areas. And because they had to migrate and eat what was on the land, they didn't have bear, they didn't have wild game everywhere they went. So they may have had more plants, they may have had more grains, or they may have had different types of animals that their bodies now had to become adjusted to. So what happens is, whatever your blood type is, this is what your original ancestors from time and time and time and time prior have given to you. What they have given you is a no nonsense way to eat. As a type AB, and if any of you are a type AB should really only have turkey. They should really only have fish, soy, and tempeh. They are not well suited. Type A's and type ABs are not well suited to eating large cuts of meat like steak and bear and deer and goat and crabs and shrimp and mollusks and things like that, because where we hail from, our genetic makeup did not eat those types of foods. So when we eat those types of foods, it causes inflammation. It will cause inflammation in the liver, inflammation in the gallbladder. It will cause you to have gallstones. Your gallbladder will become inflamed. You're going to have to get the gallbladder taken out because you're too busy eating food you're not supposed to be eating. So this causes inflammation. My bestest girlfriend, I'm 56 years old. Her mother's an A. She's an A because blood types are genetic. Usually, whatever you are has come from either one of your parents. My best friend and her mom both had their gallbladders removed. And my girlfriend's mom always was sitting on the toilet and always had digestive issues. I remember going to her house, and I'd sit at my girlfriend's house for an hour or two. Her mom would be in the bathroom the whole time just trying to move her feces, move her bowels. But what happens with type A's and type ABs, they notoriously have problems with digestion because they're eating foods they're not supposed to be eating. They do not have the stomach acid to digest large cuts of protein, large cuts of meat, fatty meats. There are some things that you're just not supposed to have. It's just like spandex. Just because they make it don't mean you need to be wearing it. The meat is the same way. Just because this meat is on the earth does not mean you need to be eating it. Type A's and type ABs, the inflammation from the foods that they're eating will cause inflammation in the stomach, the small intestine, and the large intestine. T Hill, we're going to talk about that. So inflammation will come from your digestion and your elimination channels, the stomach and the colon, the stomach, the esophagus, the small intestine, the large intestine. Type A's and type ABs are more prone because they have thicker blood. They get more esophageal reflux issues, gastric reflux, problems with GERD. They feel real nauseated. And because they don't have enough stomach acid, they usually have problems eliminating on a regular basis. They usually always have problems going to the bathroom. Now, my type O's and my type D's, they are genetically predisposed to having more stomach acid. They can eat the higher cuts of meat. They can eat all of the thicker cuts of meat. They can eat it because they have the stomach acid to prove it. What happens is, a lot of my B's and O's, when I see them here in the Trichology Center, what I find out is they have more metabolic issues than they care to deal with. They have high blood sugar. They have high insulin. They're on metformin. They're on GLP-1s because they are battling sugar issues. metabolic issues that lend themselves to having higher sugar. They usually always have issues where they're on some type of medication to lower their blood sugar when their inflammation comes from their diet. Why I say that is type B's and O's should not have wheat, corn, barley, dairy, gluten, oats. It raises blood sugar instantly, instantly, instantly. However, because we want to eat what we want to eat, we want to be grown, we don't want to listen to nobody. We just keep throwing that hat, throwing that wig on our head, throwing that scarf on our head, instead of changing the diet and watching what's on the end of the fork. So that's where the inflammation comes from. It comes from the diet. It comes from the stomach. It comes from the digestion. It comes from the stomach, the small intestine, and the large intestine. So when I say we get inflammation, the inflammation comes from an organ, the stomach, and the colon, and the small intestine. You will also cause issues for your liver, which is an organ. You're going to cause issues for your gallbladder because of the way you're digesting your food. So, as a hair loss specialist, I'm only trying to keep 100 with you because this is what I deal with every day, every single day. It's not going to change until you watch what it is that you're consuming. It's going to constantly affect you. It's going to affect your digestion. It's going to affect your hormones. Everything you touch or are exposed to is going to cause a problem for your hormones. So now, let me go back. So T Hill said my gallbladder is gone. It was removed years ago, but I wasn't having any problems in that area. Well, T Hill, you were having problems because they don't remove gallbladders for no reason. So there must have been an issue with your gallbladder. It was inflamed, or either it had stones. There had to have been a problem with a gallbladder because you don't typically have a gallbladder removed, sis, unless something is wrong. If we were born with it, we're not really going to have it removed unless there's something wrong with it. So share with me why your doctor told you to have it removed. So T'Challa said, AB here and Eat Right for Your Blood Type says lamb is okay. Is that the case? Yes, it is. Lamb is okay, and I love to have lamb every so often. Lamb is good. It is a neutral food. Now, that is not a food that I say you need to eat all the time because it's not alkaline. It's not, what should I say? It's not alkaline and it's not acidic. It's in the middle. So I always say to my clients who say, well, can I just have this? This is neutral. You don't want to spend your life and you don't want to spend the bulk of your diet eating neutral foods because they're really not good and they're not bad. They're just okay. So yes, it's okay, but try to have turkey. Try to have lean cuts of fish. And I just got on the tofu kick. I got my local Chinese restaurant to make me some fried tofu and broccoli. It was so good. So be open to trying some other things. Try looking on YouTube and getting some diets. I even created some helpful type A, type AB, B positive, and O food guides in my bio. If you would like information on how you can incorporate some of that into your diet, you can. You can do turkey. If you don't like the dry cuts of turkey, try turkey thighs as opposed to turkey breasts because turkey thighs have more fat in them than turkey breasts. But if you can, lamb is good, but just try not to consume it 7 days a week. Maybe have it 2 to 3, but not so often because you need to have fish, you need to have turkey, you need to have some other things in your diet other than lamb. But yes, it is, to answer your question, it is good for you. So I wanted to continue. Oh, okay. Yes, T. All right. You had a few stones. So, yep, that's it. That's it. And that's usually where it comes from. So, I'm pretty sure your doctor, because doctors are just, they're very quick to, if you come in with a problem, they want to help you solve your problem immediately. Hi, here she grows. It's wonderful to see you. They want to help you solve your problem immediately. So they're not going to sit there and go back and forth with you. They're not going to tell you how you can get over it and change your diet. You ain't trying to hear about changing no diet. You're having the worst pain ever. You can't digest your food. You're about to fall apart. All they're going to do is take it out. So I'm sorry that you had to go through that, but I wish that you could have been just talked to about some of your options. I don't know what could have happened to you, but that is usually what happens. You'll have inflammation or you'll have stones, and then your doctor will just take it out. But it comes from the diet. The gallbladder is going to work in tandem with the liver to help you process your fats It's going to help you digest fats together with the enzymes that they both produce, bile salts and enzymes to help you digest food. But that is what happens. So when I talk to you all about why is your hair thin, why is it thinning, it's not that you're getting old. It is because your body is changing. So I went over hormones, the female hormones we have when we're a teen, a young teen, and tender age, and when we're growing and having babies, and when we're going through menopause. We talked about those hormones. We talked about stress hormones as a means of creating change and dynamic in your hair and scalp. We talked about inflammation from the heart, inflammation from your digestion, and some other things that I want to talk to you guys about is when you are suffering from malnutrition. I'm going to talk again. Wait a minute, TikTok. Okay, TikTok wants to make sure that I'm still here, so it's asking me to slide this stuff over. When you're having a challenge with malnutrition, this can also cause a problem with thinning hair. So I'm getting hot. I was trying to keep my jacket on so I can look important, so I'm going to take this off. So another thing that happens to us is malnutrition. So I'm going to start with iron. When we're not getting enough iron, you are definitely going to have some thinning hair. Thinning hair, it's going to thin everywhere, thin all over. It's not even just going to be here because now I'm talking about malnutrition. I'm here because I'm talking about different reasons why we tend to thin. Now, who's ready to hear about iron? So here she grows. Tell me why, if you know, why do we start thinning when we're not getting any iron? Do you happen to know that? Because I want to let my sisters in the atmosphere tell others why we tend to lose our hair gets thin because we're lacking iron. Here she grows. Do you know anything about that? And Karen, I'm going to answer that in just a second. Okay, T Hill, you said that was exploratory surgery. Karen, if you can hold on, I'll answer that because I want to talk about iron. So my sister, here she grows. Are you still here? I wanted to just invite you in to talk to the people about why we tend to lose hair due to lack of iron and lack of nutrition. So she's probably busy. So I just want to write no oxygen. So here she grows. My TikTok is not working and it's not letting me pin my comment. Hope, yep. So here she grows said lack of oxygen. This is what happens, everyone. When we are malnourished from not having enough minerals and enough vitamins, one of the first minerals you need to take a look at is iron. Whenever I ask my clients to come in and I ask them for a blood test, I'm always asking, please, number one, get your iron levels checked, get your ferritin levels checked. Ferritin is the storage and the abundance of iron. So when you're having low ferritin, you may be having a challenge. As long as your iron is still okay, that's good. But what I mean is when we're having low iron, you will always have a challenge with your hair. You always have a challenge with your hair. This is why iron is an electric mineral. If anybody remembers anything about Dr. Sebi, when he was real popular and his memes and his literature was all over the place, Dr. Sebi talked about how iron is electric. Our bodies are electric organs, electric beings. We transmit energy. We radiate with energy. We absorb the energy. If we're out and it's raining, one of the first things, if you're too high, that lightning may strike you because we are a conductor of energy. We have a lot of energy. Our heart works on electricity. So iron is a very electric mineral. When, yes, less hemoglobin. Yes, holistic hair dye. Hey, how are you? So what it is I want to share with you is when your iron levels are very low, that means hemoglobin, which gives our cells the red, deep red color. When our hemoglobin is low, because we have a lack of iron, we have low heme, low iron in the body. This also means that it cannot carry oxygen through the rest of the body. That's why when you're very low on iron, you ain't got no energy. You can't even get up the stairs. You huffing and puffing because your iron is low. So Miss Fleming, yes, my dear, we have to help you work on your iron. So when your iron is low, this is one of the one top things you have to worry about when you're malnourished is, are you getting enough iron? So when my clients are having problems with upper GI disturbances, which is the stomach, when you're having trouble with your digestion and your elimination channels, one of the first things I am always worried about is, are you absorbing? Are you even able to get in enough iron? Iron gives the red blood cells its red color. When you're not getting enough hemoglobin in your body is not going to function well. It'll cause a strain on your heart. And if you're not absorbing the iron in your diet, it may spill over into your kidneys. You may have excess protein in your kidneys. Your kidney levels may show that you have excess protein there because you're not processing it on the front end. When you're very low in iron, you may have a systemic issue. When I say systemic, it means you're going to have thinner hair from point to point. Every area of your scalp will have a diffusion, or the hair will grow thin because all of the hair that is getting delivered blood to it is having a reduction in oxygen. So please, my sisters, when you are low on iron, make sure that you're getting iron-rich foods in your diet, and make sure that you're pairing and blending them with vitamin C. Yes, Era, yes, because I knew that my iron was low because I was always eating ice. And as soon as I got it under control and I started taking my vitamin C with iron, that craving went right away. So, yes, I wanted to just share with you, malnutrition can cause thinning hair. So when you're having thinning hair, thank you, Holistic Hair Doc. Thank you. Y'all better follow her. This is my girl Bobby. She down south now. Follow her, Holistic Hair Doc. She's right here. Follow Holistic Hair Doc. You want some good information? Better follow her. And she's a sharp and beautiful hairstylist as well. So yes, when you're suffering from malnutrition, one way it will show up is you having low iron, and it will make all of your hair thin because all of your hair is being fed a blood supply and oxygen. So that is another reason. When I'm talking about thinning hair, I'm talking about hormones, I'm talking about stress, I'm talking about how your inflammation can contribute to you having thin hair. Now I'm talking about malnutrition. So work with your holistic practitioner, work with your doctor, your integrative specialist, work with your physician. I don't know who has to do it. Find out what your levels are. I don't ever, when clients reach out to me for a 15-minute consultation, I'm not recommending no products because I don't know what is going on with you. I don't know what's going on here with these hormones. I don't know what your particular situation is. So I don't ever just recommend anything on a call because I need data. I teach and train my students to get data, do scans. I don't care if it's virtual. Send them that link to that scan, have them scan their face. That's the only way I tell any of my students to work with a client is when you know where you're working from. Let's find out what is going on with that client. Get some data, get some real numbers, get some information. When you work with me, you give me your blood work or we're doing a scan. That's where I get all of my information so that I can give you my best recommendations. So when you're having trouble with mineral deficiencies, they will show up on your blood work and on your scans. Another mineral deficiency that will cause thinning hair will be answered as soon as I answer these questions. I had one of the people that are in the chat ask me a question, so I'm going to address that. If y'all stick around for a minute, I'm going to get on to another very important mineral. I want y'all to guess and tell me what that mineral is before I get there. Now, let me go back. Let me see what it was. Okay. T Hill, there is not a kit that you can order to check your own levels. However, I'm telling you, if you can reach out to, she's right on the call right now. She's called Holistic Hair Doc. Message her. She will send you a link to a scan that she can do with you virtually, and that will tell you what your levels are that are out of balance that you need to work on immediately. It is not something that you have to spend a whole lot of money on, but if you're invested in your future, if you're invested in your hair and invested in your life, reach out to her and have that scan done. So I'm going to keep going. That was T. Ms. Fleming, she said her iron was low. Yes, Holistic Hair Doc said less hemoglobin. Somebody else asked me a question. Okay, Karen said, I'm B and you have Crohn's disease. I had a colon resection surgery. My gallbladder is gone and you have problems. Okay, if you can, Miss Karen, share with me what other additional issues that you're having because I know having some of those challenges are probably giving you problems with your hair. I had a trichology consultation this afternoon. And I already know as soon as I see my client, you really don't even have to tell me. I already know. Sometimes I hate breaking it to the clients because I know they don't know that I know. I had a young gentleman come in today who had spotty hair loss. He had 2 spots in the back. And then he had loss of hair here, not in the very front. He had loss of hair here in the mid scalp. Now, if you guys have been on any of my lives, because I like to teach, this mid scalp here talks about nerves and nervous system issues. He also had, like I said, two spots right back here. Just spots. One spot here, one spot here. And as a hair loss professional, when I teach and train my students, I let them know you can always tell when it's male or female pattern hair loss or CCCA because it will be symmetrical. It will be one entire circle. It'll be one area that is starting in one particular spot and it's migrating out. And it will be symmetrical. It'll be the same on all areas. This gentleman, he did not have any hairline recession. He didn't have the little points here, and he was not losing hair in an even pattern. He had a spot here and a spot here, and he was losing hair right in his mid scalp. I already knew what it was, so he said, "Oh, can you give me some helpful hints and pointers?" I said, "No, I cannot. You can come in and have a scan, and I can talk to you, evaluate your scalp, and tell you what's going on." So he comes in. He has a quick scalp evaluation. He has a quick scan. He has Crohn's disease, and he is preparing for a move down to California. He's very stressed out because he has a wife. He has a young wife. They're trying to look for a new place. They're trying to look for a job. He is also dealing with Crohn's disease. So I said, "What's your blood type?" He said, "Oh, I'm a type A." A type A? I said, "Uh-huh. All the food that you're eating are causing you autoimmune issues because you're eating foods that aren't right for your body. They're causing you autoimmune issues in your gut, and your gut is taking it out on you." I said, the more stress you're under, it's going to amplify every issue going on in your body. He said, "Yeah, you're right, you're right." I know. I thank the wisdom from Jehovah. I thank him for all of his wisdom that he downloads into me so that I can pour it out to you, which is why I'm here. So if any of you guys are ever having any challenges, please reach out. I give 15-minute consultations so that I can help you prepare to come in to visit with us so that we can help you get your hair and scalp together. Again, I like to share with you all, your hair will never grow properly unless you give your body balance. As long as you're out of balance, it doesn't matter if you're on medication. The fact that you're on a medication means you're out of balance, because if you weren't out of balance, you wouldn't need the medication. So as long as you're out of balance, sometimes it will cause problems for your hair if you're sensitive. Not everyone's going to lose hair because they're having a problem being on medication. If you are on medication, if you are having some issues, some that you know of, some that you don't know of, please feel free to reach out for a 15-minute call with us. We will inform you of what it is that you need so that you can meet with us for a scan in person, or you can be out of the area. We can help you no matter where you are. We will ship you out a microscope. You can be in Timbuktu. I bet y'all mail you that microscope, and we'll get on a WhatsApp and do that call, and we will get this together. I will routinely check in with you. I will be here to hold your hand because that's what it is I do. I am a trichologist, so my goal is to do a deep dive into your body's issues. I work alongside of what your doctor has in store for you, what your dermatologist has in store for you. If they've given you medications, if they've given you intravenous steroid shots, if they've given you minoxidil, well, guess what? We're going to work around all that, and we're going to devise a plan for you to get your hair back. If you are not able to regrow your hair, I am a non-surgical hair replacement specialist. I will help you add hair if you need it. So that is the primary reason why I'm here today, because I'm talking about thinning hair. What happens? Is it because I'm getting old? Is it because I'm on medication? Is it because of something else? So that's why we're here talking about it today. If you guys have any more questions, please let me know, because I'm going to address them here. So I'm just scrolling to see if I have any more questions to answer. So Miss Salen said, "Hello, hi sis, how are you? If you have any problems, let me know. If you have any questions, let me know. We're going to address them here because this is what the chat is for." So Miss Chanty said magnesium. Well, I wasn't going to say magnesium, but I'll talk about magnesium. Let me hop on over here to Facebook to see if Facebook had any questions and concerns, and I will come back. Okay, nope. Facebook is not giving me any questions. Okay, so I'm just going to go back to my notes. All right. So, my sister said magnesium. Magnesium is excellent. I'm going to share with you just a few reasons why magnesium is excellent. a lot of times when women are off, when we are off balance, it's usually because we're getting less calcium in our bodies or less magnesium. If we're having trouble relaxing, if our heartbeat is a little out of sync, if it's too rapid, if we're not getting any sleep, if we're very nervous, if we can't go to the bathroom, one of the best things to take is magnesium. So that was not what I was going to mention, but I'm so glad that you even put that in the chat, and I'm glad that you are on it and that you're listening because I want my people that are here in the chat with me to just, be transparent. Talk to me, engage because TikTok will know that this is going over well with you guys and it's going to keep showing this out and it's going to keep putting this out to you guys. So thank you for putting magnesium in the chat because I know you were listening. So what I was going to mention is one of the things that causes you to grow thin, and because I'm talking about hormones, is vitamin D. Hormones. Okay? Vitamin D is not actually a vitamin. It is called a pro-hormone. So vitamin D, when it is low and it's in short supply, it can cause you immune system disturbances. And when your immunity is weak and it's low and you're lacking in vitamin D and your liver is not working properly to help you with calcitrol and helping you promote vitamin D from sunlight, you're not getting any sunlight, you're not going out and letting the earth see you in all its glory, sometimes your vitamin D levels will start to decrease and you'll start to feel off because your immune system is getting weaker. So you need to have good sources of vitamin D. You need to be able to get this from your food. You need to help your liver along because your liver will have a tough time when you're not getting enough vitamin D. Your immunity will not support you when your vitamin D is low. And sometimes that's one of the top things I ask my clients. Have you had your vitamin D level checked? When you're about to get your blood work done, see if your lab tech can test you for vitamin D levels. Because when you're having a challenge here, this is the hormonal zone. Again, vitamin D is a pro hormone. So please, 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 when you're having a challenge with thinning hair, have your levels checked. Go to a practitioner, go to a specialist who can test you for your levels. Get a hair tissue mineral analysis. Go to someone who knows what they're doing. Go to a practitioner who routinely screens for these types of things because this is what we do best. A lot of times your physician will just give you vitamin D and that is it. You just can't take vitamin D all willy-nilly. You have to take vitamin D with calcium, or you take D3 with K2 because these play well together. You should never just take vitamin D on its own. You have to take it with something because herbs and minerals and vitamins, they play well with certain ones. It's just like when you go out to dinner and someone says, "Oh, I'm gonna invite my girlfriend." You say, "Who is it?" Because I don't know if I like her. And you'll know what I'm talking about, so don't act like you don't. We don't play well with everybody. That's just how life works. Everybody does not get along. Yes, we're respectful, but we don't always get along. It's the same with vitamins. Case in point, iron should never be taken in a multi herb altogether. All you're going to absorb is the iron. Iron is an electric mineral. Iron competes for absorption, and because iron fuels hemoglobin, it's going to knock any other right out the park like a bowling ball. So you should never take iron with anything else. You do not take iron the same time around any other vitamins and minerals. You do not take it with your medication. You have to take iron 2 to 3 hours before your medication, 2 to 3 hours after, and take it alone by itself. So when you're taking your vitamin D, make sure you take it with calcium. If you're taking D3, make sure it's always with K2. Please do never take it on its own. So I'm talking about some reasons why we have thin hair. So I was touching on mineral deficiencies. And I say all that to say, when you're a little bit off, when you're a little out of balance, it will show up in your hair and it will cause you to have thinning hair. So again, the way you find out is not guessing, not just taking something that your girlfriend is taking, not taking something you saw on the internet. You take it because you found out that this is what you need. There is not that often that I'll do a scan for my clients or I'll do blood work and I don't find that they need a mineral. Sometimes clients don't need any minerals, they don't need any vitamins, but they may need supporting herbs to help their body do other things. They may need niacin to take the place of some cholesterol medicine because they're trying to get their cholesterol levels down. So I may give niacin. Sometimes they may need enzymes because they're not digesting their food well. Sometimes they may need some sort of supporting herb to help move waste through their colon a lot quicker because they're not going to the bathroom quick enough or often enough, and they're having a bunch of yeast and congestion on their scalp. So sometimes you don't need vitamins and minerals. However, there may be some other things going on with you that you may need just to support your body's needs. But find out. Go to a practitioner and find out what you need. Always start with your blood work. Get your blood work to see what your body needs, especially if you're having challenge with your hair and scalp. Stop guessing. Take the guesswork out of it. Let us do what we do. Let us do what we do best by giving you a scan. So I wanted to say again, for all of you who are hairstylists on this call, I am having a strategy session, that's a tongue twister, a strategy session on Sunday for all of my viewers who purchased this 5 top reasons why your clients are losing their hair. I put all of my best stuff into that. It's actually more than 5 reasons in that book, but that is a starting base for helping you help your clients. When you learn information like this, you're better able to understand what's happening. You're better able to explain it to your clients. Because if you don't understand it, you can't explain it to your clients, and your clients ain't doing nothing. They're not taking nothing. They're not buying nothing from you if you don't know what you're doing. So, for anyone who wants to get more into holistic ways of helping their clients with their hair and scalp, I talk about dandruff and scaling and going to the bathroom. I talk about the key pivotal reasons why your client's scalp looked the way it looked. I put it all in that book. Now, if you want to join me for the strategy call Sunday at 8 o'clock, get your copy of the book. If you want the link, please let me know. Put it in the chat. Send me a message. I'll send you the link. And you can join me this Sunday at 8. If you want to transform your business, learn how to help your clients with their scalp. And I promise they'll come running to you. Once they have the keys and someone that they look like, someone that they respect and looks like them tells them how to fix something, that is game over because our physicians aren't telling us this. Our physicians are not telling us what to eat, how to move waste through the colon, how to get rid of that itchy, scaly scalp. All they're giving us are intralesional steroid shots and topical steroids and ketoconazole shampoo. We need to know why we need this stuff. What is making my scalp hurt? I have all of that information in this book. So if you are a hairstylist, this is called the Lord Jesus, I do know how to talk. The 5 top reasons why your clients are losing their hair. If you want to join me on the strategy call this Sunday at 8 o'clock Eastern, get a copy of that book, meet me in the room, and we're going to get this thing running because we have to help our clients. We have to get to that next level and that next rung. We're not trying to stay here forever. We have to get here. And the only reason why I'm trying to get here is because when I help others get what they want, I get what I want. And all I want to do is just help one hairstylist, help one client each day. I'm not trying to be rich. I just want to help people. I want to help people get hair on their head. That's it. SBL hair loss. That's what I do. So I'm going to jump back here to Facebook and YouTube and TikTok and see if you guys have any more questions. Because if you don't, I gotta go because I'm currently in the middle of taking an online class, so I gotta get back to my class materials. So let me see here if anyone sent me any more messages. So Rabbit said, "Is it selenium?" No, my sister, it was vitamin D. And thank you for putting that in there. So Miss Karen said, "I have an overactive digestive system, so I'm always in the bathroom. I'm not constipated, and that is probably because you've had surgery done to your colon. So once they remove part of your colon, it is going to speed up your digestion. However, there may not be too many things that you can do because as far as animals are concerned, animals have a very short digestive and elimination system. Humans have the longest. We have over 40 feet of colon in our body. When you take part of that out, you're going to, in a sense, speed up the digestive channel. So you probably will go to the bathroom a bit quicker. But if you can, Miss Karen, try to do the utmost that you can. Make sure you're taking omegas for your body so that your body's not inflamed. Make sure you're eating the right mix of foods. Make sure you're getting your pre and probiotic fiber and you're having good microbial bacterial in your gut. Do the utmost that you can, because if you going to the bathroom too quickly and too soon and too often is a problem for you, it may be something wrong, and it could be because you've had something altered and taken out of your colon, which causes you to go to the bathroom quicker. Because once you remove part of the colon, now you're really going to go to the bathroom quicker because you're taking part of those, taking part of that chain out. You're taking a lot of the feet out. Like I said, it's about 40 feet in the colon. So if you're taking part of it out, you're going to go to the bathroom quicker. So I hope that helped. So I'm going to keep scrolling. So Miss Thalen, I am in Pleasantville, New Jersey. And if you need more information about where I am, how to get in touch with me, how to reach me, any of my trainings, how to reach me on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, anywhere you need me, all of my information is right here in this bio here. All you have to do is tap that and you'll find out more. But I am in Pleasantville, New Jersey. So, Miss Amora Brown, can you please send me your phone number? Again, madam, I don't ever send anyone anything because if I reach out to you, you don't want it. I allow everyone to reach out to me because if you reach out to me, I know you want it. So I don't ever call people. I don't ever really email people. I only reply when someone reaches out to me because that lets me know that you indeed want it. I don't want to force it on you. I need to know that you're doing some of the work and you're doing some legwork, and that lets me know that you want the service and you want assistance. So, does coffee affect AB stomach acidity? Now, coffee, it depends on which type of practitioner you're talking to. Some practitioners say it doesn't alter the stomach's acidity because with ABs, you have weak stomach acid, and coffee actually raises the stomach's acidity. So, some will say it's good, some say it's not good. So, it really depends on who you're talking to. Coffee at the core is an antioxidant. So yes, coffee is good for you. However, when you're drinking more than 8 to 12 ounces a day, it's not good for you, period, because it's going to start causing you issues with your nervous system because coffee will drain you of B vitamins. If you drink an 8-ounce cup of coffee, you need to take double the amount of B vitamins and B complex because it's going to tear down your nervous system. It also for women is not good because it's going to cause cysts to form in your breasts and your lymphatic channels. My gynecologist told me that years ago. He said the more coffee you drink, the more you are prone to having cysts and nodules in your female parts. So it depends on which type of practitioner you're talking to. Some will say yes, some will say no. But coffee does raise the acidity of your stomach. So for type A's and type ABs, if you drink coffee, sometimes that acidity will actually help you. But in addition to that, try using lemons, try using limes, try using fruits that have a lot of enzymes like ginger rhizomes and papaya and digestive bitters because that will help to raise your stomach's acidity. But coffee isn't on its face really bad for you, not as far as stomach acidity. Now, I said I was going to get over here to Facebook. Now, let me see if Facebook left me any messages because I can sit here all day. So I don't have any more. I don't have any more. It's going to help you with your nervous system. It's going to help calm you down. It's going to relax your blood vessels. It's actually going to dilate your blood vessels so more blood is actually getting through your blood vessels. And it's just going to be better for you as far as helping you go to the bathroom as well because a lot of preparations in the pharmacies, magnesium citrate. And a lot of people, when they get stuck in the bathroom and not able to go to the bathroom, magnesium is actually very good for a lot of people. So, as I said before, women typically benefit from calcium or magnesium. So, I hope that helped. And Miss Shanti said, when I got diagnosed with MS, my vitamin D was very low. Okay, yes, Miss Shanti, I do understand. I am not too familiar with MS, but I can do my research. But if there's anything that I can provide for you as a holistic practitioner, if there's anything I can do to help you at all, please let me know. As I said, I'm not too familiar with MS, so I don't want to misquote or even give any information regarding the MS. But when you say your vitamin D was low, vitamin D for everyone, when vitamin D is low, it's not going to help your immunity. So I will say that. And we were talking about hormones today, and vitamin D is a pro hormone. So I'll bring this back down. So Sunny said, my doctor prescribed me vitamin D3. My mom and sister take D2. So I don't really know the difference, but if you want to hold on for a second, I'm going to get Dr. Google, to tell me the main differences. I only know that there are different phases of D. There's vitamin D and it's D2, D3. So I know D3 needs to be taken with K2 for it to be absorbed. And if you're taking D, it needs to be taken with calcium. So let me get on here and find out the differences. Because I am not God. I don't know everything. I just know a little bit about a lot of stuff. All right, here we go. So I'm going to read this. Vitamin D, vitamin D2 and D3 are two forms of vitamin D, both crucial for health, but they differ in their source and effectiveness in raising blood levels. Vitamin D3 is known as cholecalciferol, is primarily found in animal products like fatty fish and eggs, and is also produced in the skin upon sun exposure. That's why we need to go out and get vitamin D. Vitamin D2 is called ergocalciferol, is primarily found in plant-based sources like mushrooms and fortified foods, and is also produced in plants exposed to UV radiation. While both forms can increase vitamin D levels, D3 is generally considered more effective and longer lasting in the bloodstream. So I hope that helps. So the fact that you're getting the vitamin D at all is helpful, but what Dr. Google says is D3 is actually better. But if your doctor put you on D2, your doctor has a degree and your doctor practices medicine. So if he said D2, then it's D2 today. Because I'm not no doctor, I'm just a trichologist. So Miss Michelle Thompson, you said true, and I appreciate that. Staylin, I'm sorry if I didn't get to answer your question quick enough, but I am in Pleasantville, New Jersey. Pleasantville, New Jersey. I'm about 5 minutes from Atlantic City. I'm about an hour from Delaware, an hour from Philadelphia, and 2 hours from North Jersey and New York City. So yes. Oh, thank you so much, Eris Era and Staylin. You guys got that together for me. Thank you. So Kay, you said, how do you set up an appointment for service? I'm currently only working with people who are ready to move the needle forward in getting their body together, getting their nutrition together, getting their life together in preparation to grow their hair well. I am not really at liberty to just do constant consultations when you're not ready to move forward. I beg all my people, when you reach out to me, be ready to move the needle forward, be ready to work. If you're coming to me, you're ready because you're in a place where you're like, okay, I'm tired of my hair looking like this. I want to take off the wig. I want to take off the scarf. I want to be able to wear my hair again. When you're ready to address your needs and you know you're ready to move, then it's time to reach out to me. You can reach out to me at any time by tapping the links in my profile, setting up a Regrow Your Hair Naturally call for a 15-minute consultation with me, and we will talk about your needs. I ask if you can visit my website, look at my bio, screen the whole page, look at all the pages before you ask me the same questions that are on the website. Because we only have 15 minutes. I don't want you to waste your time interviewing me. You can find out about what I've done, where I've been. You can see my before and afters by viewing my website beforehand. Once you reach me, we're going to be talking about your needs, how serious you are about moving the needle forward, and we're going to be talking about what you need to be prepared to meet with me. I'm going to be taking your blood type. I'm going to be looking for your nutrition. You're going to have to give me 2 weeks of your nutrition. A lot of people record it, some don't. Some use the MyFitnessPal. Some people are using apps already and recording it. Some people are not. This will give me a bird's eye view of what it is that you're eating. So when I look at your skin and your scalp, and I'm looking at your blood work, and I'm looking at your blood type, and I'm seeing the problems you're having, I can sum it up in a couple minutes a lot of the times with your nutrition. I'm also going to scan you when you come in. I'm either going to scan you, or I'm going to take your blood work beforehand and perform what's called a blood chemistry analysis. And I am going to look at your scalp. I'm going to take pictures that I'm going to be using for comparison. So this is going to be matched against what you're going to be doing over the next 3 to 6 months in a year, because some people, it takes longer for their hair to regenerate, cellular regeneration. Sometimes it's It takes longer in some people, in others, it's like this. So when your body is getting what it truly needs, hair regeneration will just come naturally and it'll come quicker because you're getting rid of the inflammation. You're giving your body what it needs. You're moving waste to the colon. You're reducing inflammation in the liver. So I say all that to say, I would love for anyone to reach out and make a consultation with me. But if you are not ready to work on you, and it will take an investment and it will take some time. And if you're thinning or if you're having problems with your hair and scalp, it didn't start overnight. So your change is not going to take place overnight and you have to give it some time. I had a young lady reach out to me, and I know I'm rambling. She reached out to me the other day and she said, I'm going to get to the hot chocolate, Miss Rochelle. She reached out to me and she said, I went to my dermatologist, and my dermatologist told me to use this light therapy device. And I didn't want to use that because I didn't want to use no electronic instruments and I didn't want to use no device and I didn't know if I wanted to do all that. So I just said to myself, okay. When she finished giving me her details of where she's been and what she's been exposed to, and I said, ma'am, that's one therapy that we're going to recommend to you as a means to help you regenerate follicular activity, hair regrowth. That's one thing that we're going to recommend to you. And if you didn't want to allow your dermatologist to recommend that to you, that you can get for free, probably with your medical insurance, how do I know that you're going to use anything else that I recommend to you? So be open to what you can do to help stimulate growth, because we're going to be doing detoxification therapy, auriculotherapy. We're going to be doing lymphatic drainage. We're going to be doing detoxification methods to help you detox some of that toxicity out of your body. We're going to be doing cleanses. We're going to be doing mesotherapy. We're going to be doing all sorts of different red light therapy, different things to help stimulate blood flow, to help with blood circulation in the scalp. And if you don't want to do something, it's probably not the right time to see someone like myself, because we're doing holistic and alternative therapies. We're going to be doing things that don't involve medicine, but they are going to be involving devices or some sort of labor of some sort that you're going to have to do to encourage hair growth. So I say all that to say, if you're not open to doing things with different instruments and using collagen stimulation devices, the same thing that you can use for your face, you can use for your skin. If you're not interested in doing things that will accelerate growth, help you deliver the products deep into the channels of your scalp, this is probably not the right place for you. So I welcome everyone to make an appointment, but you have to be ready to work. You have to be ready to work, because when you see someone like me, I consider myself a specialist. I'm going to be giving you the 1-2 of all that you need to do to put one foot in front of the other and get this hair to grow back. And it involves work. So I wanted to just answer Miss Rochelle. She said, how about hot chocolate once a day? Hot chocolate, I have an issue with coffee. I usually have one of these a day. I like coffee in the morning. It's a ritual with me. I'm going to have a cup of coffee a day. If you have to have hot chocolate, have your hot chocolate, because I get it. Just be careful if you can to make sure that you're watching the additives, the sweeteners, the non-dairy creams, the sugars, the honey, all the sugar, because if you're sensitive to sugar and your blood sugar has an issue or you're having a problem with insulin, just be careful, because people who are addicted to sugar, not saying that you are, they're the ones that are going to have problems with thinning hair, scaling, soreness, itching, and swelling because of the sugar. So I get it. I understand that you like your hot chocolate once a day. I don't have any issues with hair loss. Not saying that you do as well, but just be careful. Be mindful that anything above a cup of hot chocolate a day is probably too much. 30 grams of sugar a day is the max for a human. And when we're eating more than 30 grams of sugar a day, this is why we're having all of the issues that we have, because it affects our insulin levels. So I want to keep answering these questions. So Sunny said, thank you. Eris said, you're welcome. Kay said, I have permanent alopecia, and I am so sorry. I am so sorry that you have that. If there's anything that I can do, if you're interested in anything regarding hair replacement, if there's anything that I can do to assist your needs, please let me know. And I thank you so very much, Miss Michelle, for those roses and those gifts. I do appreciate it. So, Miss Holistic Hair Doc, thank you so much. I'm only trying to be a vessel. I'm trying to be of good use to anyone who needs me. And I'm also always trying to attract hairstylists into what it is that we do so that we can have more hairstylists who are able to disseminate this same type of information. However, hairstylists really don't know that they need to learn this to help their clients until they are in a forum like this. So I'm always ready to help and educate other hair loss professionals, people who want to be trichologists, people who want to be hair loss practitioners, people who want to learn more. I'm always here. So Miss Eris said, I was diagnosed with CCCA, but I've never experienced any type of burning and itching in my scalp. Not everyone will, but what is apparent is the progression of the hair loss in this area. It will start essentially in one area and it will migrate outward. You may be one of the lucky few that does not have visible burning, visible tenderness, visible pain. However, beneath the scalp surface, beneath the subcutaneous layer, or should I say down to the white meat, the white meat is inflamed because if it weren't inflamed, you would not have the progression of CCCA. You would not have the lichen. You would not have the lichen planus, the lichen planopilaris. You would not have the pseudopelade. You would not have the folliculitis. You would not have the cellulitis. You would not have it if you were not experiencing some type of inflammation. So your inflammation may be a bit different. And because of the migration of how CCCA works and performs, that is precisely why the dermatologists give us intralesional steroids to help reduce that inflammation. I am here to just share with you all that when you have CCCA, you can work on your inflammation on your own by just putting a few pens and paper and dots together and reading it in a book. If you need any assistance, I have that inflammation guide and you can find it right in my profile. So I wanted to just say thank you to Miss Michelle Thompson. I really appreciate it. And for all of you guys who have joined me today, thank you so very much. If you need me, all you have to do is hit this link right here, this bio right there. And before you leave, if you can hit that little 6 right there and tap it all the way down, I would deeply appreciate it. Please keep tapping those hearts. Send this live out to some of your good girlfriends. And I thank you so very much for just spending some time with me here today. If you need me, please reach out. Please leave me a message in the message box, chat feature, whatever you want to do. You can reach my bio, leave me a call. You can leave me an email. You can visit my website. Whatever you like to do, I invite you to. And I will be here tomorrow. Love, peace, and hair grease. Thank you so much. Have a good one. All right, Facebook. If you guys have any more questions, please let me know because I'm still here. If there's anything I can do, I'll answer it here for you. I don't see any more comments, but I'm going to get ready to split and go because I have work to do. And again, to my YouTube and my Facebook fam, love, peace, and hair grease. If you need me, please let me know. You can reach me by tapping this link here below. You'll have a good day on purpose.